Hello, this is Will Faerber from Art to Ride, and today we're looking at Bob Salvatore and his horse Luke. Luke, he says, is an ex-racehorse off the track who was passed around as a rescue horse from person to person for quite some time, it sounds like, before he got the horse about 2 years ago. And he's mostly done lunging and groundwork with the horse, which was the right thing to do with this kind of horse. But I want to say how wonderfully he is doing here, and this is just so great to see somebody willing to take their time with a horse like this, because what you have to understand is that so often people come to us and it's not just that it's how do we train their horse, but their horses are actually damaged. You know, these horses that come from the track and off of these dressage barns where they've been draw-reined to death and their necks are broken. They're actually rehab projects, and that's really, you have to think about it. You know, if somebody has already got your horse off to a bad start, or it's gotten sore in the back, or had other problems due to these things, you know, we have to think of it as rehab projects as opposed to something like a young horse coming in that's never had anybody fooled with. If you saw on our videos, one I put up about a week or two ago of a horse called Fancy, who's just a 3-year-old, who we just lunged correctly for a few times, got her working over her back, and once again, I would never get on a young horse without getting it over its back first on the ground, so I know that's capable of doing that. And then I would add weight a little bit at a time and be very observant to be sure that the horse is capable of maintaining the position of its back up with the weight of the rider on there. And I would keep that to very small periods of time, gradually building that up. So once again, remember the position of the head and neck down and out. And this is really lovely how he's got this horse going now. You know, he's gotten it into a nice big step and he's really taking his time and getting the horse stretching into the contact. This is wonderful. Now, one thing I would say about the rider is it would help you a little bit if you will just straighten up your upper body. You have a great leg position, but you're just letting your shoulders fall over forward. So you could just stretch your head and neck up a little bit and bring your shoulder blades together behind your back. You'll just be a little bit more balanced over the center of the ball. Remember, that's what we're trying to do. It's like standing on top of a ball. So if we tip one way or the other, and that can just be dropping our shoulders, it's enough to pitch the horse out of alignment, so to speak, and we have to start again. But this is really good what you're doing, and I love how you're just taking your time and coming back to this walk and letting him stretch out again. Once again, there's no point in continuing to trot if the horse is hollow, so you are doing exactly the right thing, exactly what I would do. In fact, my rule of thumb is always, when I get on a horse, if I can't get the horse to lift its back under me at the walk, I get off and I go back to the lunging work. Once again, this is how the back guides everything that we do. You know, if the horse can't lift you, then you shouldn't be on it until it is strong enough that it can, because that's how we get into all these things. And you can see in this horse, and I think you've probably improved this horse, I'm sure, in the 2 years that you've had it. But you can see how there's a little bit of dip there behind the saddle, and this is a horse that probably gone on the way he was being trained, would probably have kissing spine by now had you not rescued him. So Bob, I applaud you very much for doing that. And this horse is really, you're getting him swinging pretty nicely underneath himself here. And once again, he could stretch a little deeper into the contact, but you're having moments when he's really engaging, like right there. That's really nice, although he still needs to get longer and lower, but you're really doing a wonderful job. He's swinging pretty deep under the body and active enough that, you know, for him, you could almost call this a working trot. You know, now, by working trot, remember, I always mean the point at which the horse is working fully over the top line. And you're almost there with him in the trot. You are there in the walk, and it's not going to take you much longer before you get there in the trot. You know, understand also as you're riding there, once again, straightening those shoulders up will help you a little bit. But also, remember, as we're trying to get them to lift their backs, to give them a little upwards touch of the heel, which asks the horse to bring its back up underneath you, much as a chiropractor does when they put their hands underneath the horse. And you have nice long legs that you can get underneath the horse. That's always my rule of thumb when I look for a horse for somebody. They should always be able to get their lower leg below the break of the side of the horse. That is where it starts to go back in again. Otherwise, you can't get under them to ask them to come up underneath you. You know, Alvera used to describe it as like plucking a guitar string, you know, to vibrate the horse's back up underneath you. So this is really, really good, Bob. I really commend you for this work. You're doing a great job with him. Keep it up, and I'd love to see another video of this horse. You are really on the right track. Well done. One thing I would say there that I just saw as you went by in that particular picture there is I would like you to check your saddle a little bit, because it does look like it's kind of bouncing up a little bit behind, so that can also be a problem. So check that out a little bit. Check out our video on saddle fit and see if yours passes the test. Thanks, Bob.